Welcome to the A2 Show with Andrew Cass and Aaron Parkinson, bringing you the trends and topics that affect our lives the most: business, politics, fitness, family, and finance. With over 50 plus years of combined business experience and over $1 billion in revenue generated, your hosts have a unique gift for seeing many steps ahead where others do not. They bring their unfiltered, contrarian views to the show every week to help you win in business and in life.
Well, we're going under the hood this week here with some ninja-level tech tools led by my man Aaron over here to my left.
First off, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this shirt you got going on here.
What about my shirt?
It's the Joe Rogan shirt.
You know, I noticed it. You know, he was doing the Trump interview, and he's usually in a T-shirt. Did you notice, Aaron? He's usually in a shirt like yours.
Yep.
And he had the nice black, fresh pressed collar on. He looked like he dressed up for Trump on the Joe Rogan Experience. And I happen to have had one of those in my closet, so I thought since we wore black shirts on our show, I thought maybe I'd freshen up and go with the pressed button down black shirt as well. Are you saying it's a like?
It's a like.
I'm hitting the like button on my black collared shirt, buddy. I'm gonna throw that out there right now. I'm hitting the like button.
What's really funny is that if you're a UFC fan,
yes,
Joe has been a commentator for over a decade.
That's his thing, right?
He wears that shirt all the time when he's...
I thought so. I thought like in the Vegas fights and whatnot, I would
always
see him a little more button down black. But on the show, it's very T-shirt feeling.
It is, but clearly he felt the need to kind of dress up a little bit. You know,
maybe this is his presidential look.
I found it interesting from a psychological perspective.
I thought it was good. By the way, that interview was really good. Like Trump or hate Trump, it doesn't matter. I think what we saw was a fantastic 2-hour sit-down interview with a candidate. Forget the names for a minute, right? A 2.5-hour sit-down with Trump. I'd love to see a 2.5-hour sit down with Harris, but we probably won't. I think it's really good for the country just to listen to people talk. No tough questions, no tricking people, no cornering people, right? Just get to know the people. Talk about current events. If you get into office, what would you do about this? But not like, hey, you did this and this person said this. It was very not like that, Aaron. I thought, and we both were texting each other. It was funny. We ended up watching it at the same time on a Saturday, and we were texting, hey, did you see the Rogan? And yet we were both watching it at the same time. It was so funny. We're in different countries, right? But yeah, I thought it was good to see just a conversation, and Joe's a genius. He said, his words, he said, I just want to sit down and get to know the guy, just like I want to sit down and get to know the girl. That's it. That's the only motivation, just so the American people have more of not 5-minute and 10-minute sound bites with commercials and questions that only have 2-minute ends and whatnot. It was just a conversation. Now, Trump's a rambler. He's a little bit of a rambler. And I think that's an age thing. That's why I've always been against Trump as the candidate. I think he's past his time. I don't think you've said this on the show, Aaron. I don't think anybody should be 75 plus running for president, in my view. Other people might say 80. Some people might say 70. But he's a rambler, and Harris can't even form 2 sentences. So, we've got not maybe the best candidates in the world, but I think that from a standpoint of looking at the teams they've assembled, you can't argue that Trump has assembled some really fine people on his team.
That's a super team.
That's right, like the Avengers, if you ask me. There's no team on the other side. So,
I actually said to you before we got on the show, I actually have found Trump difficult to like. In the past, he's come across very like mean, bullyish, crass, a little bit unhinged,
pissed off, which I guess rightfully so if you keep getting sued for everything, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the sound bites, obviously, that you hear, and maybe that's by choice, right? That's sort of the perception that I have. I actually found him quite endearing, funny, like normal. I hate to use that word, but normal,
down to earth, authentic. Doesn't matter what you think or what the media says. It's just two guys having a conversation, and it's very healthy for America because that's the candidate. The candidate is the candidate. This candidate actually got elected. The other candidate didn't. So it's good to hear from the candidates that aren't on getting grilled by ABC or NBC or Fox, and they just get to talk. So I thought it was good to see. And I hope we see it with Harris, but there's probably no chance. In fact, last I heard, and I'm hoping to God this is a rumor, that of course he invited her, And she said, no, we won't come to the studio in Austin, which, by the way, that's the whole point. It's the Joe Rogan experience. They usually make a day out of it. He has this massive complex. That's only been the model for about 12 years. But she actually has the audacity to think that, oh, you know what? You can come to me and we're only going to do an hour. An hour for her is like a marathon. She's usually doing a 20-minute interview with 4 commercials. She has no stamina. But it isn't that she has no stamina. She has no policy or accomplishments to actually stand on. So it would be really tough to sit with Joe when you really haven't done anything. In fact, you could argue that you've wrecked a lot of things.
I just found it interesting that I don't know how many views it's had at this point.
Isn't it like 50 million or something, Aaron, at this point?
It was growing so fast, and I haven't looked at it in the last couple of days. The last I saw was 40 million.
And that was like 3-4 days out. And this is, I think that there's something like 80 million subscribers to the Spotify channel because that's where his contract is. That's a third of the population, Aaron, when you think about it.
I'm just talking about how many views were on the YouTube video.
Oh, geez. I'm thinking Spotify in that regard. No?
I'm searching it right now.
Okay.
Because I want to know.
Right now. You're searching it right now.
Let's just see how many views are on it right now.
So how many views? So we are shooting the show on the 30th of October.
Yeah.
And I think they did it on Friday, which would have been where are we here on my calendar here? 20. Oh, it's already Wednesday. So we're shooting the show Wednesday at 30th. Show was the 25th. So 5 days in, Aaron, what is that thing doing? Obviously, we're talking about this because we're on a podcast, and these podcast numbers to me are staggering from a business standpoint. Wow. I mean, this is bigger viewership than Fox and CNN and MSNBC combined, if you ask me.
So as of today, at least what YouTube shows on just views of the full interview, it's 40 million views. It was uploaded 4 days ago.
I wonder what Spotify is because Spotify, I think, is a subscriber thing. So if you have 60 million subscribers, then 60 million people are going to get fed that show, right? I guess that's the point, right? So yeah, that's big. That's big time. And it very well, it may very well actually win him the nomination because that show is so big.
And that's why I think to myself, why wouldn't you jump at the opportunity to be on a show like that?
You can't. How would you jump to the opportunity when literally every aspect of America is wrecked in 4 years? What are you going to do? Stand by that? You really can't, man.
To have a conversation? I mean, the whole.
Listen, listen, Joe Rogan's a smart guy. And he even said to Trump, I mean, he said some things like, he asked some tough questions, but he knows what went on in the last 4 years. You'd have to be brain dead or brainwashed to not know what they did with the border alone. If he pressed her on the border alone, she could lose the election in 1 hour. Because it's so bad what they did. I mean, it's so inhumane what they did. Largest human trafficking ring in world history, and they enabled it and they undid at least, last I counted, 40 executive orders that just undid the laws. I mean, that's like unleashing chaos. And then tried to cover it, and then tried to make it like you needed a bill to fix it, but yet you would never need a bill to protect your own country. That's the point of the job, right? It's like telling a cop, you can't go protect the community and don't go patrolling in your police car because we don't have enough money. No, that's the job. That's what the taxpayers pay for, right? So what if she got into that conversation? It would be a disaster. That alone, it'd be unrecoverable.
So in your opinion, strategically, this is the equivalent of her taking the fifth?
I would say that's a really good way to put it. I think that she's done what she's had to do with going on Fox. That was a nightmare. CNN town hall disaster. ABC interview nightmare. And those are left-wing channels. And they did I have to give really, really big kudos right now to ABC and CNN. And I knew Fox would press her because it's the other side. But ABC and CNN pressed her hard and she melted down like you've never seen. And I was like, wow, these are channels that are supporting her. But they're like, but wait a minute, you said this, but wait a minute, that's not what you did. But wait a minute, you can't say you're part of the solution because you undid the laws that were the solution. So they were actually, I had to like pinch myself. Am I sleeping? Are they actually asking real journalist questions? It was a disaster. Was that every time she takes an interview like that, her poll numbers go down by 1%. I've seen it's like a rock in the ocean. So it's a double-edged sword. They go like this. We've got to put her out there because everybody's saying that we're dodging it. But if we put her out there, the polls go down. But if we don't put her out there, the polls go down. So the polls just keep going down. That's a pickle, man.
I will tell you this, and I know you obviously have your stance. You've mentioned it many times on the show. I'm choosing to be optimistic, and I'm hoping that on Wednesday morning I wake up landslide victory, done, over, moving forward, everybody breathes, and we can get back to being normal. That's what I'm going to hold on to in my mind.
I think you are very hopeful, and I'm with you, and I hope that is exactly the case. I hope it's a fair and square election and there's no shenanigans and people can be cool with whoever the winner is. But like I said, the real issue will be between November and January when it comes to swearing the person in, because unfortunately there's about, I estimate, 30% of the population, it's a big number, that genuinely would like to see America burn down before they want Trump to get elected. I think that's very bad, which means they will do everything in their power not to certify the victory if it's a big victory. Their track record speaks volumes. Hopefully it's not the case. I'd love to be wrong, but I just don't trust them.
Yeah, but I think you could say that on both sides. I think that if Harris won in a fair election, you'd also see a huge proponent of Trump fans wanting to burn the country down.
You would definitely see kickback, but you wouldn't see Congress trying to decertify it. And right now they're already talking about not certifying the winner before there's a winner. So the right isn't talking about that. The left already is. So I'm going by their words, not by my theory. I'm going by them saying if he gets elected, we might try to implement the insurrection clause, which means we can't certify him. They're not saying that on the right. They're already projecting that on the left. That's why I'm saying it. So yes, I hope we have a fair and square winner. Good, done, gone. But I hope that it's smooth from November into January where the certification takes place, so that then the country can get back to the business of America and not the business of every other damn country that this administration is in right now.
Are you ready for how I'm going to actually segue to the topic?
Yeah, you should segue.
Of today. Because it's going to be tough to segue, but I'm going to do it. Are you ready for this?
Tough times. We're a week away, and then we'll start getting more focused.
Here's how we're going to segue.
Yeah.
Regardless of who wins, and regardless of how long it takes to get somebody sworn in, even worst case scenario.
Yep.
2025 is right around the corner.
2025 is around the corner. That's true.
And regardless of who wins, there will be a lowering of the volume. There will be a renewed sense of optimism for a lot of people. And for a lot of people who will be unhappy about whoever won, they will say, well, I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. It's time to get back to work.
Right on.
We got 4 more years.
Yep.
So if you're like me, and that's where your head is focused right now, we got to get a jump on 2025.
Agreed.
And the purpose of this episode today was to educate you, enlighten you on some tools that could give you a severely unfair advantage against your competitors going into 2025 so that you can ensure the highest level of competitiveness and profitability. How'd you like that segue?
I love it. Let's do it. Take it away. I know these spy tools that you're going to share are in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to probably learn about a couple of them, and then I'll press you on a few of them.
So today we're going to talk about 4 different tools we're using consistently inside of our agency right now. And for those who don't know, I own a digital marketing agency, and our goal, there's 2 types of agencies in the world. There's branding agencies and there's direct response agencies. Branding agencies are who like the Coca-Colas hire, right? We want you to do a big commercial. It needs to be emotion. It needs to get people talking about it. You know, they're so big at this point, they don't do direct response. They do big brand campaigns.
They just keep you front of mind.
Exactly. And try to just create emotion, right? Direct response is, I'm a service provider or I have a product and I have a $10,000 a month budget that I want to put towards ads. And I need to mathematically see from a data-driven approach that I put in 10 and I got out 20 or 30 or 100 or whatever your goal KPI is. That's the world that I live in, which is very stressful. It's very cutthroat. It's very high stakes. You know, some of our clients are spending as much as $100,000 a day. You know, when you're spending that much money, you need to make sure that you are leveraging every possible thing that you can to be ahead of your competition. So first thing we're going to start with today, Andrew, is, and you won't be surprised by this, is something we've used extensively since it was put out about 10 years ago. And that is the Meta ad library. And it kind of even ties into what we're talking about today. The Meta ad library was effectively, I would say, forced by the government to have Meta release it I want to say about 10 years ago now, because
it was a compliance thing, wasn't it?
It was actually a compliance and transparency push by the government, because they were unaware of how much false information was being put into the marketplace, specifically around elections. And they wanted to be able to see what was actually happening. So when Meta rolled it out, they said, hey, this is a great tool for all of our advertisers. You know, we want to be transparent with what's on our platform. But I don't know the exact details. I'm pretty sure it was a conversation forced by the government on Meta. We want to see complete transparency into all the ads that are being run.
Which is fascinating if that's the case, because who decides what's false and what isn't? Different conversation for a different day.
I don't think it's a bad thing. And the reason why it also supports my belief there is that when you actually go to Meta Ad Library, if you Google it right now, it will give you 3 choices. What country do you want to see the ads being run in? Number 2, do you want to see all ads, or do you just want to see election ads? Now, what's funny about that is it's always been those 2 options. So when I first saw it, I thought...
Even just now leading up to a 4-year cycle, or all 4 years?
This has always been an option.
It asks about election or politics.
It says, do you want to see all ads or just election ads?
Interesting.
And it's always been that way since it was released, which reinforces my belief that it was forced upon Meta to show what election ads were being run on their platform.
Got it.
So I never used the election ads because I have zero interest in the election ads.
So people can opt to see more election ads if they want to. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what you have to understand, what this tool does is that if you put in your country and then you choose what type of ads you want to see, and then you insert the page name of any page on Meta or on Facebook or Instagram, it will show you the exact ads that they are running today, what they are running today and what they ran historically.
Which is really great to see if people know about this. This is almost like a cheat or a hack, if you will, right?
Absolutely. So
I can go to my number one competitor, which is correct. I think where you're going, and go, what are they running for ads today?
What are they running for ads today?
And because of the Facebook ads platform, terms and conditions says if you're going to run an ad, we're able to put it in the library for anybody to see it.
Correct. So I could go to a competing, just choose any industry, insurance company.
Yeah, let's say it's restaurant advertising even, right?
Sure.
So you're two Italian restaurants in town, and one of them is getting more people and they're big advertisers, and you're like, well, what are they doing? What are they saying? What kind of ads are they running? You could see their whole Facebook ads library, right?
Absolutely. And you can see all of their videos. You can see all of their images. You can see all of their copy.
Yep.
And you can actually click through to wherever they are sending people to from the ad, which is another huge benefit, because you can see, are they sending them to a page with a coupon? Are they sending them directly to their main website? Are they sending them directly to a booking page? What is it that they have tested that is clearly working to their benefit? Because now you can turn around and you can say, well, they always seem busy. What is it? What is their messaging? What are their visuals? Where are they sending to people on their site? What are they doing that I'm not? And you can start to read between the lines. And here's the trick with Meta Ad Library. The longer the ad has been running, because it has the date it was launched on it.
Oh, wow.
The longer it's been running, the more profitable it must be.
Obviously, or you wouldn't run it.
Or you wouldn't continue running it. So you'll see ads that come up and they were launched 3 days ago and then they're gone. And then 2 days ago, last week, last month. But if you see one that's been running for a year.
That's a trigger, man, right there.
Boom. That thing's a gold mine. And you can look at.
So are you saying you take it now? And obviously you can't plagiarize it. So you'd adapt perhaps that ad structure to your offer, right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to link to that one down below. Number one for sure is the Facebook Ads Library.
It's actually been renamed now to Meta Ad Library. But if you punch in Facebook Ad Library, it'll still come up. But it's now considered the Meta Ad Library.
So in the show notes down below, first tool will be the Meta Ad Library.
Correct.
Which again, to summarize, you can see any company that's advertising on Facebook, whatever ad is presently running or any ad they've ever run, Aaron.
You can see what they're running today. It'll say active.
Okay.
And you can see what they ran historically.
So you can see the inactive ads also?
Correct. So one of the the big benefits of this is doing research on what your top competitors are doing to be successful, because success leaves clues, right? This gives you an unfair advantage. I'll be honest with you, as an agency owner, when it first came out, I wasn't happy about it. I was mad about it because a lot of the stuff that we create is on there, and our competitors can see what we've created and steal our stuff.
But at the end of the day, if you're advertising, everyone's going to see it anyway. So it isn't like they're showing something that you is proprietary, because it's an advertisement. The whole point is you want it to be out there.
It's true.
I don't like the fact that it's been organized neatly with data for the viewer, though, because now they can see your ads portfolio. It's one thing if they catch your ad on a Facebook feed. It's another if they can sit there and stare at your ads portfolio.
And they can roll through the whole thing. They can see what you've tested, what you did.
They could even screenshot it and video it. And
we have done exactly that. I have created a folder, not from Meta Ad Library, but just to sort of support your point.
Yeah.
Anytime I've seen an ad on Meta that has more shares than comments, we call that a unicorn ad, because if you're getting more shares than comments, the content is really landing with people who are watching it and they're wanting to share it with other people. And when they're constantly sharing it with other people, it drives your costs down considerably. So we've actually created a library of 100 different unicorn ads that I've screenshot, sent to my team, said, go to Ad Library, find it, download the video, download the copy, download the link to wherever they're going, and put it aside for creative iteration in the future. And that's really the benefit of Meta Ad Library. Now, number two, which you're going to be like, oh, that makes sense, but it's actually a big thing. I don't know if Google was pressured internally or if they were pressured externally. Last year released the Google Transparency Center. Is
this as it pertains to ads?
Is the exact same thing as the Meta Ad Library.
So probably competition, I would think, right?
I don't
know. If you said, Aaron, it's compliance in a law, I would think the same law would apply to Google that did to Facebook, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if there is a law or not. I maybe I should have done more research before we started the show today, but this was a huge advantage for us because we already had the angle to go in Meta and research competitors. Now, the big one for us is YouTube and search.
Yep.
So what are our competitors saying in their headlines and in their sub-headlines in the search platform? And what do their videos look like in the YouTube platform? And you and I both know creating video ads is very time-consuming, cumbersome, complex. If you can catch something that you go, oh, that's working, that can save you a ton of time in testing new campaigns.
Yeah.
So the Meta Ad Library came out about 10 years ago. About a year ago, Google followed suit, and they call it the Google Transparency Center, which is actually better in a way because, Meta Ad Library, I'm going to go look at people's ads. Transparency Center, maybe people have missed it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From that perspective. So as you're doing your research in your marketing and you're looking at your competitors and you're asking yourselves, are they running paid advertising campaigns? And if so, what is it that they're running? These two tools, in my opinion, are the best spy tools on the market, hand down.
So two spy tools, we have the Meta Ads Library, and now you have the Google Ads Library.
And the Google Transparency Center.
So we'll link to both of those down below in the show notes. A2show.com, the A2show.com if you're watching this on video.
Correct. So now I want to take this a step further. Let's assume you've got some ideas, you've done some research, you've got the creative juices flowing, and now you're saying, okay, I'm going to launch a campaign. We're going to start with my favorite one for YouTube specifically right now. Mm-hmm. Friend of mine named Alaric Heck is getting a free review today on our show. Free promo. Create a tool called Keyword Search. Keywordsearch.com, great name, very simple, easy to remember. So Keyword Search, when you use this software, I think the software is about $200 a month, give or take. You can go in and upload your corporate website into their AI system, and their AI system will pull everything it knows about your business, what you do, who you serve, what your avatar is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Directly beside that, it will show you who are your biggest competitors in the marketplace. And it is clearly API'd into the Google Transparency Center because it will pull their channels and their ads for you and put it right beside yours to show you exactly what they're running. You don't even have to do the work.
Is that a paid or a free tool?
That is a paid tool. I think it's about $200 a month. They might have a free trial on it. But here's where it gets even better. One of the biggest challenges in doing YouTube advertising is YouTube's obviously owned by Google, and Google has such a large inventory of platforms that it can take a really long time to sift through the amount of audiences that you have the potential to test with. Keyword search goes out and grabs basically the 5 best audiences that you could go and target with your YouTube ads. First one, based on AI learning about your company, they go and they bring you back every competitor's channel on YouTube. So let's just say you were in personal development, just throwing out a random industry. They'll pull, here's Tony Robbins' channel, here's Brendan Bouchard's channel, here's Joe Vitale's channel, here's Jocko Willink's channel, here's Joe Rogan's channel. And you can just go click, 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 bam. Now you're advertising directly in front of their audiences.
Ooh.
Because it's brought their channels directly to you on a silver platter. So, you know, when you go to watch a video and it pre-rolls something,
yeah,
right? If your offer is congruent with those channels, what's the likelihood that somebody's going to pay attention to what you're offering? It's huge.
It's going to almost feel sponsored,
right? The next thing it's going to do is pull all of your competitors' websites. So let's just say you were in weight loss, for example. It's going to go and pull Nutrisystems, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Mediterranean Diet. Boom, 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 boom,
pull the domains, the URLs?
Correct. So anytime somebody would punch in one of those URLs, it's going to serve you up in front of those competitor websites. So not only are you running in their channels now, where they're actually putting content out, you're running when somebody searches their websites. The next thing it pulls is phone apps. So let's just say you were in the finance sector, right? I've done this with the tool, so I know. It'll pull Acorn. It'll pull Robinhood.
Yep.
It'll pull all those things. If we were still in the finance department, when we're talking about channels and shows, it'll pull Bigger Pockets. You know, it'll pull all of those things. Then it goes another level and it pulls all the keywords that somebody might punch in. So again, if you're in the weight loss sector, it's going to pull lose weight loss.
So now you're getting the Google search, the Google search tool capability.
Absolutely. It pulls it all, and it pulls it all based on the AI studying your business, your website, and your brand. And within 30 seconds, it serves you up all the highest level audiences that you could go after, while also showing you what your competitors are running in your marketplace side by side.
Wow.
This took my campaign managers on average, when they were manually doing this research, about 6 hours. And that's 6 hours of research when you know what you're looking for and when you know what you're doing. This is now doing it in 10 minutes.
Wow.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's the AI component right there. AI is just bringing speed to the game.
It's like, even if I use it once a month, which I don't, I use it more than that. Even if I use it once a month and it costs me $200 a month.
Well worth it.
It versus 6-7 hours.
Oh,
well
huge.
Worth it.
Huge.
Well worth it.
So that's number 3. We'll link to that one down below.
That's number 3. And then my 4th favorite right now is a site that I've been using for a while. It's an AI site called adcreative.ai. And I started to show this to you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. That's where it's building your ads for you, right?
It's building your ads for you. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk from, I think most people know who Gary V is. That's what attracted me to this, is he said, in our agency, we get paid based on how much we spend on ads. And when we tested this tool out on 4 accounts, we were able to increase the ad spend by 30% within 4 months, because the biggest challenge we have is in creating ads and content quickly. So this system creates content for you quickly. Let me just tell you how this thing works, Andrew. Very similar to keyword search. You create a brand inside of it. So it says, okay, create the brand. So I did it for you. I
remember you showed me.
I put in Pipeline Pro, right? It pulled me your fonts, your color schemes, the description of your business, your logo. It pulled everything, boom.
Anything that exists online, it's going to pull down, right?
Absolutely. It pulled it all in for me. And then I said, okay, I'm going to upload a picture. I uploaded a picture of you. And it said, okay, do you want to write anything on the picture? I said, sure, I want to write this on the picture and this on the picture. And it said, great. And I said, now give me some variations. With one click of a button, I had 100 variations in 10 seconds of different images with you and the ad copy I wanted and your logo and your color schemes and everything. And the kind of thing that you go to a designer.
Oh, God, that'd be back and forth for a week.
And
right?
Let me say, are they all perfect? No.
Yeah.
I'm looking through, 10 of them, and I like 3 of them. But it's pulling together Midjourney, which is an AI tool that makes images.
Yep.
It's pulling together Canva.
Yep.
And it's pulling together ChatGPT all into one tool. So I'm able to create 100 different images of you, and maybe I like 20 of them, but it took 30 seconds.
But think about the cost you've eliminated for a designer.
Oh, crazy cost, dude.
Crazy
cost.
That's hundreds of dollars. That's hundreds of dollars of back and forth just in that one design.
Absolutely.
And that's a week. You're not the only client back and forth. So you've essentially put a graphic design component into the ad creative mix without the graphic designer.
Now, here's where it gets wilder. It says, do you want to turn these into an ad of some sort? A Google ad, a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, or whatever? Yes, I do. Okay, no problem. It spits out 50 different versions of copy, leveraging the known traditional frameworks of copywriting in the world, the Keep It Simple, Stupid framework, Russell Brunsel's framework, whatever you want.
Yep.
Boom, here's 50 pieces of copy. So now you've just saved another back and forth with a copywriter for 5 hours.
And that tool is how much a month?
It's like $100 a month.
Wow. So these are very, very well priced. I mean, these are.
Oh, it's so crazy. Now it gets crazier though. You can then take your image and your copy, and you can turn them into videos. They'll animate the image. I remember you showed me that. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. It starts to, and by the way, with advertisements, as you know, movement is key. When things are moving, people are hypnotically drawn to movement.
Sure.
So if you can get an ad to move without you needing to put on this big production on video, you can just get some images to move. That stops the eye. That catches the eye.
Absolutely. And if you're not the kind of person that wants to use like images of your building, your office, your product, your service, a person, whatever, you can actually, it's tied into Midjourney. So you can say, please make me a picture that has this person in it, this thing, whatever.
It has that prompt inside where you tell it.
Absolutely.
Okay,
and it'll shoot you 50 AI created images. Boom. Just like that. You can do the same thing with video.
So this particular platform, would you say is built for an agency who runs ads or someone who's running their own ads could use it, I would assume? Anybody who's running ads, right?
Because of they got a pretty flexible price point for different sizes. For us, we're in an agency plan.
So it's more of an enterprise plan for you guys.
Yeah, there's definitely smaller ones for more independents. I think value, like dollars to donuts, it's probably the most valuable tool I've seen this year.
You showed it to me quick. You were so excited one afternoon. You were like, we've got to get on a Zoom. I have to show you this thing. It was like, you were like a kid in a candy shop.
Oh,
and then when I saw it, the efficiency and the speed and everything, and it wasn't spitting out average designs. This was pretty crisp, high level, high res design.
Absolutely.
And the copy is nice too, because at least it's giving, this is what I like about the ChatGPT style tools, is that at least the copy is a starter. It probably won't be what you finish with, but it gives you something to start with versus looking at a blank slate.
Absolutely. It's always easier to modify something. Oh, and by the way, that's the other thing. You can modify any image and any video after it's been sent out. So even if you want to make slight edits to it, it's got an editor built in. You just go bing, bing, edit, done. So
now are you guys building ad campaigns with this tool yet, or are you just playing with it?
No, we're building with it right now. We're using it for e-commerce. We're using it for subject matter experts. The great thing is you can create volumes and show it to a client, and then the client says, well, I only like these two.
Yeah, you pumped out like 20 designs on one click at that
well,
time.
And the thing with working with clients is that in the beginning, you have to kind of get their feel, like their
you're trying to learn their positioning and learn their branding and learn their offer, right? So you have to play with a lot.
Like, when you're doing that in onesies and twosies, it's a ton of back and forth in the beginning.
Right.
Whereas if you can just go, here's 25, tell me the 3 that you like, that sets the foundation so much faster in the beginning.
The other thing too that's a big benefit, and a lot of people don't know this, and this is really what I learned from you guys and working with you guys running my ads, is that if you're not constantly changing up your creative, your ads are going to get stale fast.
Correct.
And one of the downsides of constantly changing up creative is all the reasons you just mentioned.
Oh,
okay,
so
I have
work.
3 ads out there right now, and they're getting stale, so I have to have 3 new ones designed by my designer. I don't like the first draft. I go back. He does a second draft. I like 2, but I don't like 1. I go back. I get the 1. We're like 2 weeks into this thing now.
Yep.
So changing up. So that right there is going to just dramatically condense time and create speed for not only the agency, but also from the agency to the client. But if you're running your own ads watching this, I mean, you could be changing up ads every other day, every week.
And saving yourself
without
hundreds.
leaving the platform, really, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to end it with this. The other nice thing is you can connect it to any ad account and launch your ads directly from there.
What do you mean when you say connected? So the ads are getting fed into the Facebook Ads Manager in that case?
Correct.
You don't have to save them, download them, put them in? You're feeding them in?
Absolutely. And you know what makes that amazing? Is there are so many people with it connected right now that the algorithm is reading which ones convert the best, and they put a conversion score on the assets they create. Based on the million data points of all your competitors using this system right now, this has a 98% chance of being the most successful.
Is that what it says?
Mind-blowing.
Oh my God, that part I didn't know.
Mind-blowing.
So the fact that it can see, it's probably connected to the Meta Ads library, to your point.
It is. Connected to everything.
Wow.
So we started with a little politics today, kind of hard not to right now, but then we segued into, okay, what's going to happen after this is done? Mm-hmm. How can you get a head start on the new year? These are 4 tools that we're using at scale to manage about $5 million a month in ad spend right now. And it doesn't matter if you're big, if you're small, if you're medium, they can impact your business tremendously. And I highly recommend that you check them out.
Yeah. So again, www.the2show.com. If you're watching this on YouTube or on social, whatever, we're going to have a link to all 4. The first 2 you mentioned are Google and Facebook plays. That's within their platforms. The other 2 are AI plays that link to, I think Facebook, I don't know about Google, right? They link to the Facebook ads platform. But even if they don't link, they create the production of, I mean, I could argue 2 or 3 people here.
Easy.
Right? I mean, we're talking about being inside these dashboards and creating the output of a person or 2 on a full-time role. I mean, this don't glaze over what I just said, right? Replacing people at full-time jobs times 2 or 3 people, depending on your business. I mean, that could be $2 $80,000 per year people gone right there as an example.
And getting faster results.
And maybe you put somebody who's more of an admin on it, right? Somebody who's maybe a virtual admin, but the tool can give you the output of the people. And then I think it's always smart to maybe have somebody manage the tool or oversee the tool, right?
Correct.
I'm training somebody right now, Aaron, who would do just that, right? Yep. I'm going to tell them, I want you to watch our podcast. I want you to go to the links below and look at all 4 tools that Aaron went through, that we talked through. And I want you to learn all of them. And then I want you to put a plan together for me. You should do that for your business right now if you're watching. Put somebody on this podcast episode, have them go to all the links in the show notes, have them learn everything, make notes, present it back to you, and create a plan for them to use these tools. I mean, decide which ones you want to use. The first 2 are free because they're connected to the platforms.
And the other 2 have free trials.
And if free trials, get in there. I mean, listen, if you're running ads, it would be difficult not to use one of these tools. But have somebody on your team do it for you if you're not going to do it yourself. But all of the data is here, right? There's 4 links here below that can dramatically condense time that it takes to get ads and get advertising out there on all the platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Google, Facebook, right? Instagram, doesn't matter. Those are the big 5 right there.
Yep.
What else? Any final thoughts?
No, that's it for today.
Short and sweet today. A lot going on here. Great resources down below. We will see you in the next episode. I'm Andrew. That's Aaron. We're going to wrap it here. Keep it tight again. Show notes at www.the2show.com. Use these tools. Let us know what you think. We'll see you soon.